Hello, and welcome to the League of Statistics. I'm Sirza, and in this video of League Around the World, we'll be looking at 1907 Fenerbahçe from Turkey. FB come into the play-in stage with above average KDA across the board, but the only area they stand out statistically is their jungler, who has the lowest kill share percentage and minion share percentage of any jungler in the play-in stage. Statistically speaking, FB is average across the board. When we look at minion share percentage, they're roughly close to the average of the play-in. If we look at gold, they also follow this trend of being close to the average. Damage also follows this trend, as there's no real major discrepancy. The only area they really differentiate themselves from the play-in average is in kill share percentage, where top lane gets a lot more percentage of the kills on their team, whereas jungler gets a lot less. When it comes to warding, they're below average when it comes to wards placed and control wards bought, but they're above average when it comes to clearing out enemy vision. There are 6 gameplay points I want to cover using in-game footage about FB's play. The first is their gank compression for top lane, the second is their frequent roaming between all lanes, the third is their odd micro and macro decisions, the fourth is their poor neutral objective play, the fifth is their inconsistent team fighting, and the sixth is their strength at pace setting and tempo control. Starting with the first point, FB has a lot of emphasis on ganking and pressuring top lane. They want to get their top laner ahead, and as you'll notice in the clips, they tend to do it early on in the games, such as this one where they gank it 3 minutes into the game to get him first blood. They normally keep this pressure up throughout the game, normally re-ganking it as the game goes on. The first 10 minutes or so of a game, they tend to have at least their jungler on the top side of the map to get these ganks off. This one, they continually re-gank this Kennen over and over again and get behind, while Narg gets very much ahead and becomes a very potent split push threat. Now, as you can see in this game, again, ganking very early at the 4-minute mark or so. They don't get first blood, but they pressure the Jarvan off, and they keep doing this. And it's not always just the jungler impacting these lanes, and this goes into the second point. The lanes impact each other a lot. Here, we see their mid lane roam up before Galio does to help protect the Cho'Gath, but also to help secure the kill onto the Sejuani. Now, it's not just mid roaming top, which happens a lot. As stated, they try to get their top ahead, but this also can be support roaming to mid, top roaming to mid. As you'll see here, you have support roaming to mid along with jungle to assist in this kill. So there's a lot of interaction between the lanes, which allows them to keep a high tempo in these games and get early advantages. So here, getting first blood at 7 minutes into the game. And then here again, now they have jungle and top lane coming in to help to counter gank this. And while they trade the kill on the Cassiopeia, they end up getting a double kill as a result. In this game, they get really far ahead because of these early plays. The third point about FB is that they tend to not punish enemy mistakes, like in this clip, where they don't engage upon a bot lane that they would have easily been able to at least get 1, possibly 2 kills on, or they don't prioritize objectives properly. Like here, they focus on pushing on the T2 top turret instead of going to get Herald, which they could have used to push on the T2 top turret. So they kind of misprioritize things, which is important for point 4. The fourth and probably most important aspect about FB's play is their player on neutral objectives. If there's one area other teams in Worlds are going to punish the most, it's this area of their play. They often do strange, perplexing things, like in this case, letting a Sejuani walk right up and almost might steal it away. Another area of neutral objective play that they struggle with is properly preparing for objectives. In this clip, they had ample time to set up wards, clear out enemy vision, get everyone in position to take this dragon, but they forego that. And as a result, it puts them in the situation where they have to use Gragas to smite steal it away, further putting them in a position where they have to take this fight. As a result of them taking this fight, they end up trading 3 kills to only get 2. Furthermore, they don't properly maintain vision. In this case, they let an enemy keep a ward on the Rift Herald the entire time, despite having multiple ways through both sweepers and control wards to clear that ward, making it so that this take the Rift Herald would have been much cleaner and much safer. Instead, it results in a fight. Other times, they can just end up being greedy for the objectives. In this situation, they make a big play bot lane, and it opens up either dragon or bot lane turret for them. They go for the turret and get it, but still try to greed for this dragon. Now, if it weren't for Cho'Gath being here, Sejuani is again in a situation where she could have smite stolen that away. Cho'Gath's feast is the only thing that secures it. And there's even more peculiar things. Like, they just secure Baron in this clip. They have plenty of time to make it over to Dragon. There's a blast cone to get them over. They have a pink ward on it that it doesn't get cleared out. But they don't decide to fight for it. And as a result, they give away a dragon. They resort again to smite stealing. And then finally, you combine all these together, and it puts them in a situation where teams end up punishing them for it. Here, despite having time to set up, to clear a vision, to get in position, to take this Elder Dragon, they don't. Where the enemy team does. And as a result, the enemy team gets a good flank, kills them, and then takes Elder Dragon for themselves. This is where teams will punish them the most at Worlds. The fifth point is that they're relatively inconsistent in team fights. They have really high highs, but they can also have low lows. Like here, they have a wonderful team fight that everything just goes their way, and they set it up beautifully. And this launches them really far ahead, and with the final point, gets them to win this game in about 21 minutes. However, in other situations, they show that they have a lot of miscommunication. This game, they have a lead. They're 6,000 up, and they have this Gnar flanking, but instead of telling the Gnar to get out, we're going to focus on the teleport, they just leave the Gnar to die, as their whole team pretty much abandons him for the teleport. Or here, they have Baron, they also have split push advantage, but they instead go for a team fight. Here, they could have had Gnar in the side lane against the Kennen he has been destroying all game. But instead, they go for a team fight. A team fight where they end up losing, at this point, 3 of the 5 fresh Baron buffs they got. But they instead greed for even more kills and end up losing the 4th. Jhin is the only one that remains with this Baron buff. And it's really questionable kind of teamfight play. Or you have fights like this one, where they have awkward positioning that creates 2 front fights, where you have one group on one side, another group on the other, and neither of them are able to really accomplish much, and they lose the team fight. Here, they had a lead. They should have won this fight if it was a typical front to back, but because they're split up, they lose it. But that being said, not 3 minutes later, they can have wonderful setup fights like this, where they focus the right targets, they're all on the same page, they get wonderful positioning and flanks from their team, and they just clean house. So, it's really going to be determinant in Worlds what kind of team is going to be showing up and how they're going to be playing team fights, if their team fights have improved during practice or not. While it's not their biggest area, it is an area that they can be punished. To end on a good note, the final area of interest in FB's play is how well they're able to dictate the pacing of games. They are a team that can really push the tempo of a game, especially when they get leads. They normally are able to get first turrets within the first 10 to 12 minutes, and if they really get a lead, you can get into situations like this. They got an inhibitor in this game at 15 minutes. They're going to use this Rift Herald wonderfully as the mid wave is crashing into the inhibitor, into the Nexus turrets, to take 2 turrets and another inhibitor. 30 seconds from now, they'll take the 3rd inhibitor, and within 20 minutes of a game, have 3 enemy inhibitors down. They play wonderfully with tempo, and that's how they're going to win games. In summary, FB is a well-rounded team. They have a lot of early pressure, especially in the top lane, and know how to dictate the pace of the game. They also know how to push advantages when they get them. However, they have some odd decision makings in their micro and macro play. They're inconsistent in teamfights, and they have poor play around neutral objectives. Overall, they win through the early game. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. For updates on videos, follow us on Twitter. And from everyone here at the League of Statistics, thank you for watching.